Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the Tuesday NBA slate. We have 7 games on tap for tonight, so let's get into it. As always, appreciate you guys the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out Twitter. It's at the DFS Process. Check out the website, dfsprocess.net. Check out Prize Picks and use my promo code if you want to get some free money. So let's get into it. We'll look at point guard and go through each position. Starting off here, James Harden is 10-9. No Kevin Durant. He's not going to be able to be back, I think, until Friday. So you'll see Harden and Kyrie kind of just carry the show. It's against Detroit. Pistons have been pretty interesting this season. Like they have a horrible record, but they've played some teams tough, especially the Lakers. So I don't think you can just assume this game will be a blowout, especially with how bad the Nets defense can be at times. So Harden looks okay at 10-9. I think Irving looks better, $1,600 cheaper at 93. Both guys look solid. Irving didn't play last game. Harden did play against the Sixers, but he didn't do much. Game got out of hand late, so he didn't come back in the fourth. Was fine. I mean, probably would have had a triple double if he played some more minutes. But now with Kyrie back, I'd probably lean to Kyrie. I like Lillard over Curry today. Lillard is 10,000. He's not on the injury report. Curry's on a back-to-back. Lillard is playing against a Magic team. It's a late game, which usually tends to get a little bit less ownership. But he's only $10,000. So his price tag has come down. He's against the Magic, who they struggle really bad defensively with all the injuries on the team right now. Like they weren't expecting having Gary Clark play 30 minutes, having Dwayne Bacon play 30 minutes. Paul Anthony is very fresh on the defensive side. So their entire defense is all messed up with all the injuries. So Lillard looks to be a fine option at 10,000. I think he is my favorite guy above 10K. And then I like Kyrie at 93. Fox is always a great tournament option. 8,800. Like he's been carrying the Kings 4-0 in their last 4 games and some tough wins against the Clippers, against the Denver Nuggets, against the Celtics. So Fox making his case for I mean, he's kind of way off from MVP, but he's making his case to at least kind of keeping the Kings on the map here, and I think he always is a great tournament option. I've always rostered him. I have no problem with rostering him against the Sixers. I'm not interested really in Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell. Tough matchup against Boston if they get Jaylen Brown back. But without Conley, he's going to take a bit more of the point guard role. We know he loves to shoot. Even when they're not going in, he's still going to shoot 20 times a game. He's a decent option. Price tag over 8,000. I think he looks fine, but I probably won't go to him. And then Oladipo is expected to rest tonight. So you'll see John Wall get more minutes. Although they have been cautious with John Wall. He finally got up to over 30 minutes in his most recent game. Probably will see similar minutes. I don't think he's still ready to play like 35 to 38. So still a big tap on the ceiling. Then you have Kemba, who was really bad shooting the basketball. Had one of his worst shooting performances, 4 of 20. And that was followed up with a 1 of 12 recently against the Lakers. So he's been struggling shooting since he's been back. If Jaylen Brown is back tonight, then I won't go to him against the Jazz. It's a tough matchup. You don't even have to play him. Anyways, just because you have some cheaper options here, like DeJounte Murray, fresh off of an 8 steal performance, 62 DraftKings points, played 36 minutes, and now it's same matchup against the Warriors. And Derek White is going to rest tonight, so you'll see more point guard minutes for DeJounte Murray. I think you got to consider him at 65. It's just a good price tag in a great matchup, and he's a little bit too cheap, especially if Aldridge still is out, which I do expect, and they're not expected to. If Derek White's out, and then so those are two big pieces that get a lot of minutes and big rotation pieces. So Murray should continue to get heavy minutes in the 30s, and 65 is just too cheap. And then I think you definitely can consider Eric Gordon, point guard, shooting guard. I think he looks a little bit better than John Wall, just because he has shown the ability to get up to 35 plus minutes. He played 36 most recent game, and now without Oladipo, he should be starting at shooting guard. He's been really good this season shooting and been aggressive, so I do like him at 6,200 on a at a position where we'll get to shooting guard, but there's not a ton that jumps off the page. Other guys at point guard here, Clarkson is up to 6,000, so I'm not that interested. I like Cole Anthony at 5,900 quite a bit just because of how thin the Magic are. Some games they get blown out and he only gets to play 29 minutes, but usually he's been in the 30s of minutes recently, and the matchup is great against Portland, and he's actually been a bit better shooting the ball recently, so definitely don't mind taking a shot with Cole Anthony. And then none is decent, but I prefer Anthony. Don't have. I mean, Derek White's going to sit, and then with Rose, if he does make his Knicks debut tonight, then you can't really trust quickly Alfred Payne or even Burks. They're kind of all gonna, don't know what kind of rotation Tibbs will run. Probably quickly will be the odd man out, is what I assume. And then, yeah, I don't think I'll go cheap. You could take a shot with Patty Mills without Derek White here, but I like Murray. I like Gordon at point guard, and then I do definitely like Cole Anthony at his cheap price tag. At shooting guard here, no Oladipo, so you have Mitchell 81, looks decent. And then you have a bunch of guys in 6K range, so not too many spend up options, which is why I think Eric Gordon looks good at 6,200. I think Gordon looks better than like Trent, than Hero, definitely than Joe Harris. Halliburton looks decent. Tough matchup against the Sixers, though. He's 62, so he's not super cheap. Then I think you could go to Ingles. Just had a really bad game shooting the basketball, 3 of 10. Could have had a double-double if he maybe made some more shots and grab one more rebound. 58 against Boston. It's a tough matchup, but just a lot of more usage for him to go around without Mike Conley. Then Burks is 51, so I'm not interested even if Rose is out tonight. Then don't have interest in Ross. He's just been so bad, been so bad recently. The minutes have also been up and down, but he can't really hit a shot right now, so I don't have interest. I'd rather go to Cole Anthony. Well, at least we'll get you some assists and some steals. Then Seth Curry finally came back to earth with 24 DraftKings points after had really bad performances with 6 and 6 fantasy points. 42 against Sacramento, one of the worst defensive teams in the league. But he could be worth a shot. Then you have Bacon as a decent value play. You have Devin Vassell as a decent value play. And then you have Lonnie Walker, who's only 3,600. He looks to be the best value play right now of the slate at only 3,600. Should start at shooting guard in place of Derek White here. He missed a few games with injury, but they said, or with an illness. But Popovich already said he expects him to play in Tuesday's game. So we should see him play at least in the 20s in minutes. And he's a guy that was over $4,000, even $5,000. So we're getting a great bargain at only 3,600 without Aldridge, which will help him without Derek White. So feel really good about Lonnie Walker and getting another piece of San Antonio. Other guys at small forward, you have a cheap Jimmy Butler, you have a cheap DeMar DeRozan. I like DeRozan quite a bit at 78 if you want to stack up San Antonio against Golden State. Jeremy Grant is only 7,000. He looks decent, especially if decent either way. But if DeLon Wright's out, then he looks even better. Then you have 5,700 for Josh Jackson. He looks good. If there is no DeLon Wright and he happens to start, I would be a price tag to jump on Josh Jackson just because they also traded Derrick Rose, so he's no longer on the team, and they're going to need some more punch off the bench. And then you have Ingles, looks decent. Keldon Johnson also looks decent here. Oubre looks fine at 62. Not interested in O'Neal, Burks, Ross, Toscano Anderson. Could take a shot on Tate at 4,700. And you could look at Nwaba, maybe Dwayne Bacon, but definitely like Lonnie Walker out of that value group. Power forward, it's Tatum at 92. If there's no Jaylen Brown, you could play him. It's a tough spot against the Jazz in Utah. But if there's no Jaylen Brown, I could consider taking a shot just because you probably won't get too much ownership at a good price tag. Randall looks decent at 9,100. I would go Zion over Ingram just because Ingram's been up and down all season, but it seems like Zion has kind of been a bit more consistent on cash at least. I'd probably go Zion over Ingram. Ingram has shown a high ceiling, but sometimes the peripherals aren't there with the assists and rebounds. So you have Zion at 82 against Houston. It's been pretty much in the 40s and high 30s. Also can get up to the 50s if he has an outlier rebounding game. And then we have DeRozan, who I like more than Ingram and Zion. We have Jeremy Grant at only 7,000 against a Brooklyn team that doesn't play defense, so he looks decent. Draymond Green, maybe he'll rest tonight. We'll see. He took that horrible shot at the end of the game with maybe he was trying to get the triple double. That's probably what he was doing. Um, he's been fine recently. Price tag keeps rising up to almost 7,000. If he's in, then definitely could take a shot again. Same matchup as it was last night. Harrison Barnes finally had a poor game. He was really racking up the fantasy points. Nobody really plays Harrison Barnes, but he's actually been good for the Kings with showing you a big ceiling in the 40s. He also can sometimes be horrible and get you in the teens. So he's kind of you just kind of have to hope that you get lucky and get one of those 40-point Barnes games. I had only 6,400. He's in play just because he has that sort of ceiling. Then don't think I'll have Carmelo. Covington looks decent. Blake just doesn't play a lot of minutes, even some blowout games, but he rarely gets over 30 minutes, and I don't want to pay 5,000 for him. And then you have House, looks decent at 43 without Oladipo, but I like Gordon a bit more. And mainly it for now. Moving on to center here, you have Embiid, looked great against Sacramento against Richaun Holmes. Like, he should absolutely dominate here. Should be another 60-point, high 50-point DraftKings score for Embiid. Vucevic looks excellent at 8,900 against Portland, against Enes Kanter. I mean, Vucevic has just been a one-man show for the Magic right now just because they're so banged up with all these injuries. No Fournier, no Gordon. There's just so much usage for Vucevic to go around. It was a blowout against Chicago, so he only played 24 minutes, but normally he's getting 37 minutes and should be able to hit you like 50 DraftKings points in this type of matchup at least. Like, that's kind of floor I would expect for Vucevic tonight. Then we have DeMarcus Cousins. I also think you can take a shot. It's a back-to-back for Cousins, but he only played 24 minutes, 25 minutes last night against Charlotte. They scored like, I think they had like four points in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left. I think they maybe pushed it up like 7 or 8, but pretty poor effort for them to close out the game last night. Now it's against the Pelicans, his former team. We'll see. He has played, I think, in some back-to-backs. He played 33 and 30 minutes on the 22nd and 23rd. It was fine. Like, he still has a huge ceiling, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe people will jump off of him now that his price tag is getting up there, and then he can just kind of pop off. Without Oladipo, who does take a ton of usage and ton of shots, I think it helps Cousins because him and John will have a little bit better chemistry right now than him and Oladipo. So, you like Cousins at 7,400. I think it's a spot where you can go with two centers tonight. You have Gobert, who also looks great, but his minutes have also kind of not been there a lot of games. Some definitely due to blowouts, but in a pretty close game against the Pacers, he was only on pace for like 33 minutes, and then he played 31. And then I think you can maybe look to like Plumlee at 58 against the Nets, just because it's a really good matchup in terms of rebounding the basketball. And that's mainly it for me at center here. And then last but not least, at guard, I will go ahead and put in Cole Anthony. I definitely want to get at least one Magic player, and that's Vucevic. I think you can go with two and go with Cole Anthony. The two pieces that get a lot of usage, like Anthony takes a ton of shots for the team right now. It shakes double-digit shots, plays 31 to like 33 minutes, hopefully, in a close game. He gets you some peripherals with assists, rebounds, and he can be fun to roster just because I definitely am rooting for the kid. Some game, he started out the season shooting terribly, but he's been decent besides the last game, shooting 60%, 58, 50%. So a bit up and down, but he's definitely been a lot better, shooting 43% in his last 10 days than compared to like 38% on the season. So I do like Cole Anthony at his cheap price tag. And yeah, pretty much it for the DraftKings breakdown for now. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to FanDuel. On FanDuel here, point guard options, we have Steph Curry at 10-4. Then you have Damian Lillard at 98. Lillard looks great. No longer on the injury report, so definitely want to take a shot and consider Lillard. Kyrie looks fine as well at 95. I won't have Ben Simmons. I definitely like De'Aaron Fox at 8,600. Then DeJounte Murray also is cheap on FanDuel at only 6,800. Wall is 77. He's kind of priced where he should be. And then we have Kemba if there's no Jaylen Brown at 57. Tough matchup, but I think he's at least worth a look. And then we have Cole Anthony at 54. I do like him. He's cheap on FanDuel. He's like he's always been. Gets good minutes here. Good matchup against Portland. And there's a few guys that I'm considering here. You also have Patty Mills at only 3,800. He looks decent. So 4 or 5 guys that I'm really looking at right now are Patty Mills, probably Kendrick Nunn, Cole Anthony, and then like DeJounte Murray and Fox and Lillard. Probably like the 6 guys I'm right now I've penciled in. I do like the price tag on Anthony on FanDuel. I like him on DraftKings as well. Great matchup, good price tag, and has shown to get you high 30s FanDuel points at times. So that would be like 7x value. At shooting guard, it's DeMar DeRozan. Looks great at 8,300. You have then you have a couple guys in 6,000 range. So like Buddy Hield looks decent. I like Hield more than Halliburton, I think. But both guys, I think, are a little bit tough to get to in a tough matchup. Then we have Eric Gordon at 59. He looks great. Josh Jackson, if there's no Delon Wright, he looks fine. Clarkson is cheap at only 5,000. And then you have Ross, who has been really bad, but he's cheap. But don't think I'll get to him. Burks looks fine at 4,400 on FanDuel, but we definitely want to see if Rose is available to make his debut or not. But the one guy that I like is min priced on FanDuel. It's Lonnie Walker is $3,500. Shooting guard, starting shooting guard for the team, without Derek White, probably without Aldridge. Just too cheap. Like definitely want to capitalize on that price tag. Small forward, it's Brandon Ingram. Butler as your pay up options here. I like Butler more than Ingram. Both guys look decent. If Brown plays, I still won't get to him at 8,400. Grant looks decent at 78. Barnes is a bit expensive at 6,900. And then position isn't super deep here. You have Oubre looks decent at 67. You have some value plays that we can go to, like a Joe Ingles at 4,500. You have Keldon Johnson at 5,300. So I will probably go with Joe Ingles at 45 just because he's so cheap, getting you 30 minutes. Tough matchup, but I definitely don't think he'll shoot as badly as he did last game. And he's been a great three-point shooter on the season. Gets you some assists, some rebounds as well. So definitely like going with Joe Ingles. And power forward, probably a position to spend up. We got some value plays in Cole Anthony, Lonnie Walker, Joe Ingles. We have Julius Randle at 9,000 against Miami. He was great against Miami last time. They lost by, I think, a bucket or two. But he put up 52 FanDuel points with almost a triple-double. Looks great tonight if you can get to him. If not, we have Tatum at 97. If there's no Jaylen Brown, I would definitely try to get to him. You have Zion at 8,400. And then you have, like, some value plays in Tate's kind of expensive, so I won't go to him. Maybe you can look to Tice if he starts at center, but really tough matchup against Gobert. So there's not too much value at this position. You have PJ Tucker as maybe just a punt play. So definitely probably will spend up for my positions here. And I do like Randall at 9,000. And then at center here, you have Vucevic at 8,700. It's probably Vucevic, Embiid, and Cousins as the guys that I'm considering. Maybe you can make a case for Plumlee, but like Cousins gives you more upside at $300 more. And then Vucevic is 87, so he's also really cheap. Right now, I think Vucevic looks great here. I'll probably consider how my lineup looks if I go Vucevic or if I go Cousins. Both guys, I think, look great tonight. Even playing Vucevic leaves you with 7,700 left per position. So definitely have enough salary to make it work. But yep, that's pretty much it. Stay tuned for updates. I'll post them on Twitter. Thank you guys for watching and hit the like button if you enjoyed. And good luck today.